Hello guys, today I'm going to be talking about ForcePack a bit more. If you record last week, I released a video talking about it and showing you the very basics how to use Blender particles to mimic ForcePack the way we use in 3D Max. In Blender is a bit different and it's not an external plugin. You can use a particle system to do that. In Max as well, but in Blender is a kind of little bit it's a kind of simple way of doing that, and I show you the basics last week, but this week I want to show you a bit more of it, mostly my workflow, my personal workflow using ForcePack, and I'm gonna try to show you why I'm doing that. The reason is, first of all, last week I just threw I remember that I threw a landscape here. Let me put it back to subdivision, last subdivision, because I had created a previous landscape on this scene and I subdivided it a lot, so it gave me some issues, right? So right now I'm gonna push this mesh. I'm gonna increase the mesh so we can have. I can show you which reason. What is the reason that I want to show you a different approach, right? Let's put it back to. You guys are gonna forgive me because my machine is running out of memory. I saved lots of Unreal projects in my CPU in my hard drive, and then I don't have space, so it's running out of memory. I wish I can show you a bit how to do this with the memory that I have. So unfortunately it's like that. Let's cross fingers. Okay, what I'm saying is we have this wireframe, so this object is very subdivided, right? So in this case, if you recorded it, I was using the weight paint to define where my particle system would go. So red is more scattered and blue is nothing, right? But I'm not gonna use this workflow for now, because sometimes in ArcFish, let's say, we don't have a landscape like that, but we still have a landscape which is not flat, so we need to scatter that, but we don't have that crazy landscape with mountains and nothing like that. Sometimes it's just the landscape maybe is sometimes something like this. Let's say sometimes it's something like this, right? Something like this, right? Go here, and maybe in this area we go here, but then it gets less, something like this, right? Something like this, right? We have a regular landscape, but the thing is we don't have that amount of subdivisions, and we don't want to have that. Why? Because it's not necessary, and it's rather to have a clean scene, than have a scene full of geometry just to scatter the vegetation, right? So what is the reason? If I go to paint, you see this is not working because I don't have the amount of subdivisions. Let's say that I want to put some trees here, not here. I can't because I don't have the amount of subdivisions. So weight paint is not the way to go on these regards. So what I do, let's create our plane. This plane is gonna be my mesh. It's gonna be my scattered mesh, right? So now I get this plane let's make it a bit bigger just to show you the idea. This plane, I'm gonna go here. Let me cast my here. Okay, now you guys can see what I'm doing. All right. So basically, let's put a different color here and different color here, just for the sake of distinction, right? So we have, this is our landscape based on a CAD plan. So we have these. We should have a vegetation here, right? And this is gonna be the mesh that I'm gonna use to scatter my plants. So I just need to apply another particle system here on this mesh. Another particle system. Look at that. I apply the particle system here. I choose this as a hair. The same thing we did last time, right? Advanced. I go here. I'm not gonna go in collection again because it's gonna be extra time. I will just go for object, or if I go for object, I have to create 3 different particle systems. In each particle system I choose one object. So in this case it's better we go for collection. Sorry, I go for a new collection about trees. Let's say trees. Oh. Oops, let's be organizing. Trees. So we have all our trees are inside this collection, right? So right now what do we do? We go here in the particle system, and then we put collection, and then we choose the trees. Which collection? Trees. So right now we have our trees scattered here, right? It's gonna be very painful for us to see that because of my memory. So I'm gonna put this, let's put 10, just for the sake of visualization, right? Just for the sake of visualization. Okay, we go for a scale. We can scale up like that. Randomize, rotation, remember all of that, right? We go randomize phase. We randomize the rotation, right? So we have our trees random, and we can randomize the scale as well, and that's all. Okay, now we can take these guys, and for the sake of better optimization of viewport, we can go here and choose bounds, and then we press right button, apply to reset to copy to select it, right? So all of them are bounds. And then now we take this guy here, but we want to scatter this here, this mesh along this other mesh. So we are gonna use a modifier for this one called scheme wrap, and then we choose scheme wrap, and then we select the landscape which I want to scatter the trees, right? So once you apply this, you will notice that if you go to your mesh, right, scale it down, your mesh will follow the landscape. If you go inside your mesh and copy this face, right, the face will follow, right? And that's pretty much what I do to scatter my vegetation on these simple terrains, you know, because that's gonna make my life easier, right? You can take this guy, bring it here, bring it something here, scale up, you know, bring it maybe here, right? And these will be following everything, right? And then I can adjust just whatever I move, it's gonna be following the mesh, right? The main mesh. It will happen if the terrain was if it was a complex landscape, let's say that, right? It will be following everything. just for the sake of curiosity, right? And then the mesh, the particle system, it will be scattered all over this place, right? All over the mesh. What I did here, because the particle system is a kind of a modifier applied on top of my mesh, right? I just applied the skin wrap after the particle system. So here in the modifier stock, the particle system comes before, and then I apply the skin wrap. But if I drag and drop the skin wrap for the top of the particle system would take in account the position of the mesh after the application of skin wrap. So now you can see that my trees are pretty much following up the terrain, right? And now I just need to fix the let's put more trees. Let's put 20 trees, and then let's go here and see these guys as a not as a boundary but as a solid. Oops, I have to select one. Go here, put texture, right? And then apply to select. Copy to select. But if you see, our trees are kind of bending. The trees are bending, right? So what we have to do to make it looks like straight, looking to the top, because the tree is not bent with the terrain. Most of the trees, right? It goes up no matter what. So we go here into the particle system, and we're gonna change here. I'm gonna guess with you is one of the options. I wasn't prepared for this tutorial, sorry. But I would like change this to global Z, and then here we go. We have our trees pointing out to the top. So, and the randomization will be like rotating around the Z-axis, right? So the good thing about this is because forest spec in 3D Max is something stacked under in the 3D Max structure, so it's not that much flexible in terms of copy and paste. At least that I know. Every time I need to replicate that forest spec, I need to copy a forest spec, right? And then apply that into a new mesh, right? And then from that new mesh, I change the plants or change something else, and then I apply that to whatever other mesh I have on my scene. I don't know. I don't know if you guys understand that, but let's say I want the same forest spec. I want the same forest, right? But let's say I just want to copy. Let's say I just want to copy this object here, right? Let's say that, or I don't need even to copy this. Let's say I just want another forest spec with just this object inside, another particle system with just this object inside. I will just copy this guy here, right? I will copy this guy here, detach, press P, detach from the mesh, and it goes already with all the modifier stacks that I had before. So this now for me is a different object, right? This is a different object with another particle system, which is a particle system copy from the main one, right? If I just press this, it's not a copy anymore, and I don't want a collection anymore. I'm gonna select an object, and then I just want this object. Easy peasy. Now I have two different objects, two different particle systems, right? If I want another one, if I want another one, I would just take this, drag and drop, and in this particle system I will make it an instance and select, let's say, another object, let's say this object, right? So I have very much lots of flexibility, right, to keep going, you know, creating lots of things, lots of force specs scattering here and there, you know, very flexible, very flexible. If I, for instance, if I just create a landscape here, let's say I have a landscape, let's say I have this landscape, right, I have this landscape here, right, and then I take this guy here, I go to the particle system, and then I go to the modify scheme wrap, and then I tell, okay, I don't want this surface, I want the other surface, right? I just take this plane, remove it, press this here, right, and brings my particle, my mesh here, right? So it's gonna be following the terrain. You know, you understand me? So I just need to go here, for example, right, and select this guy, for example, reduce the size of it, right, reduce the size of it, something like that, right? Then, I want a bit of trees here, maybe a bit here, right, maybe a bit here, right, and then you take this guy, put it down a bit, this guy, put it up, something like maybe here, right, something like this, right, and then you go back, voila, your trees are here, scattered, right, never change. That's one of the workflows that I like to use with particle system. I use a mesh, and then that mesh I scatter here and there, and I don't need to use weight paint. Weight paint is amazing. I love weight paint because you can control how big the trees will be according to fading from the red to the blue, but it's not every time you need that. Sometimes you need something more simpler, and this is a very simple way of creating lots of different particle system with different plants, different trees, and so on, right? Let me know what you think, if it was useful for you, and be in peace. See you soon, guys. Adios.